So recently I had a YouTube commenter tell me that Warframe is for queer mecha furries and the First Descendant is for grown-ups. And when questioned about this opinion, he only doubled down. And I took this as a wake-up call, because maybe I do need to log out of the queer mecha furry game and play the game made for manly, big, tough, strong, sweaty, hot men. And so I did, and I put about 30 hours into the game since launch, and boy do I have a lot to say about this game. I was able to log into the game day one with no server issues, where I was presented a choice between 3 different characters: the Mountain, a Marine, and Viessa. Now, in every single game I play, I'm a schizophrenic magic-using weirdo, so the frost mage-like abilities that Viessa has fits me just well. And after listening to the story in the tutorial, I made the executive decision to not pay attention to the story any longer, because I simply did not care and it didn't interest me. And for the first few hours of this game, I had a complete blast, as I was sniffling on the coke that is new looter-shooter game. However, after about 10 hours of playtime, the harsh reality of what this game truly is set in. You see, this game is not trying to be unique at all. It is trying to copy a lot of systems from other games that work really well. And as I discussed in a previous video, I have no problem with this at all. Some of the best, most popular games of all time just take ideas from other games but make them way better. To be honest, it feels like The Division and Warframe had a baby, where The Division went to the store to get milk and never came back, because this game looks and feels like the absent father, but learned everything it knows from its very present mother. However, in its teenage years, it started to harbor resentment for its mother due to the father's actions. So in an act of rebellion, it made a mockery of every single thing its mother taught it. So the first thing I want to touch on is some of the systems in the game. The most prominent being a system that's similar to the Void Relics in Warframe. So through dungeons and various activities, you can get the Amorphous material, which contains a drop chance for various items that are used in crafting. And to open them, you do a Void Intercept boss. And after that, you have a ludicrously small chance to get the item that you actually want. But you can increase your drop chance by 30% by subscribing to my YouTube channel. The next thing is the modding. Now, there are a lot of mods in this game, but a lot of them just kind of feel simple and surface level. This could be because the game just came out, but as of right now, it does feel like there's going to be specific meta builds that you're going to have to use. But I don't think this is a huge deal, because I feel like they will add more in the future and it will become more complex. But already you can upgrade mods and you can also mix mods. But as of right now, mixing mods feels really unintuitive and kind of weird, but that could just be because I'm not used to the system yet. Another cool system that I like is you can level match guns. Again, this isn't unique to the First Descendant, but I really enjoy this system, because if you have a specific gun that you like, you can just keep it throughout your entire playthrough and just keep level matching it. And fortunately, the resource you need to do this is really cheap and it only takes 10 minutes to craft. So the entire weapon system in the game gets a big old smiley face from me. Unfortunately, I do think this is probably the best system in the game as of right now. But also tied to the best system is the journal. You can go through and look at pretty much any item in the game that you'll ever need, and it'll tell you exactly where to get it and how to get it. I always love when games have this, because instead of having to have a wiki tab open on your second monitor, you can just look at what you need in the game. Again, big smiley face. The only thing that gets a bigger smiley face from me is my Twitch stream. I'm live every single day from 3 to 7 p.m. EST. Another thing I like about this game is the mastery system. It's essentially an account level that you get from doing new things in the game, such as doing a mission for the first time, or leveling your guns and descendants, or staring at the ultimate bunny that's AFK in Albion. Speaking of leveling your guns, once you hit level 40, you can reset the level on them to add another polarity shape to your gun. This gives you a discounted mod slot of your choice. And to top it all off, the devs confirmed that they will be adding a trading system amongst players. One thing you might notice about everything that I just said is all of the systems I mentioned are borrowed from other looter shooter games. And like I mentioned before, it is completely fine for them to do this. Other incredibly popular games like World of Warcraft or League of Legends have done this exact same thing. And with them doing this, they have become the most successful games in their respective genres. But it's because they borrowed the systems and made them better. So I guess the only question with this is, did the First Descendant do that? Yeah, we'll talk about it later. Because before that, I want to talk about the monetization. Now, a little bit about me. I'm a lot more forgiving than other gamers are when it comes to monetization. So I think a lot of people will not agree with me when I say the battle pass is fine. Okay, just hear me out. Everything in the battle pass that isn't a weapon skin or a cosmetic is technically available for free. You just have to grind harder for it. And so like it's an optional $10 every 2 months. And so I'm not gonna buy it, but I don't think people should be getting angry over it like they have been, because it could have been a lot worse. But this is just kind of how I feel about battle passes in every single game, because most of the time they're not that egregious. However, I do kind of understand the frustration that some people have because they feel like the game has to be their full-time job every 2 months because they want every single item in the game. But I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I don't feel like it's the the end of the world, because this game does have far sketchier monetization practices already. Like when you start the game, you have 10 Descendant slots, and to get more slots, it's about $1 per slot, which isn't bad, but it does feel kind of bad that you're locked to only having 10 characters unless you pay money, because most people who play games like this would like to have every single character unlocked at once, and to do this, you're gonna have to pay around $10. That is until they add more Descendants to the game and you have to unlock more slots and pay more money. On top of that, instead of grinding for all the Descendants, you can just pay $10 to $15 depending on which one it is to get them, which again, I don't think is bad at all. I actually don't mind the system whatsoever, because most normal Descendants themselves aren't really that hard to obtain. But another weird thing is the inventory capacity. You can pay to give yourself more inventory slots, which doesn't sound bad, but the pricing is egregious. To give yourself 40 more inventory slots, it's going to cost $20. And this goes all the way up to 1,000 additional slots, by the way, which would cost you $500. Why you would need this many, I have no idea. Now, I do have mixed feelings on this because I don't know who in the fuck is going to buy 1,000 inventory slots, and clearing out new inventory slots takes seconds. So I don't think this is really a big deal, but it's just kind of weird. But getting into the worst things, there are these things called energy activators, which you need to put more mod slots on your guns and Descendants, which when you're getting into endgame and doing hard mode stuff, you absolutely need. And you'll need one for each gun and Descendant that you want to use. Now, you can obtain this item just by grinding, but it is really hard to get. So like I said, you can grind everything you need to get it, or you can pay $25 per energy activator, meaning you need to spend $100 to put this on one loadout. And if you've never played a game like this, most people want 5 or 6 different loadouts depending on the scenario just ready to go. Now, this is where I start to not agree with the monetization, because they took one of the most important items in the game and put it behind a paywall of $25 each. Now, if this wasn't bad enough, let's talk about the Ultimate Descendants. Now, Ultimate Descendants are primarily cosmetic, but they do include small stat buffs. So to the casual player, these are just going to be skins, but the hardcore players who like to min-max are absolutely going to want these. Now, there are premium bundles for these characters that are going to run you $95, but the regular bundle is only going to run you about $55. However, you can grind for these and get them for free, but it is so ridiculous. Let's use Ultimate Bunny as an example. There is a 30% drop chance to get the amorphous material that you need from the specific dungeon. And once you fight the boss and crack it, there's only a 3% chance that you get the material that you need. After doing some quick math, that means you would need to do the dungeon 132 times and then the Void Intercept boss 33 times. And that's only the average, so it could take a lot more or a lot less. But the kicker is that's part 1 of 4 that you need. Now, the drop chance on some of the amorphous material that you need is not told, but if all the chances are the same, that means you would need to run 528 dungeons and 132 Void Intercepts to maybe get Ultimate Bunny. Now, I'm no genius, but it's almost worth your time to just buy the thing, because the average player who probably has a full-time job and maybe some kids, who is only able to play like an hour or 2 here and there, doesn't want to spend the next 100 or so times that they're able to play the game just trying to get a single character. So if it's really worth that much to them, it would almost be stupid to not just pay the money and save your time. However, this is the kind of monetization that I do have a problem with, and I feel like a lot of people are going to say, oh, Warframe gets away with it. Okay, here's why Warframe gets away with it. The premium currency is tradable to other players. If you would like to buy something on the item store for 170 plat or $10, you could do something like farming corrupted mods, which you would only need like 10 or so to get that much plat, which if you're really good, you could do that easily within like 30 minutes to an hour. So if you wanted to buy the Ultimate Bunny skin in Warframe, it would only take like 5 hours of grinding, and that's not even the fastest method. But anyway, with everything I just said, I don't think the monetization is terrible. I think there are a few things that are bad though. But now it's time to get into the bad stuff. Thing number 1, you haven't liked the video yet. Thing number 2, the optimization. But while I'm talking about optimization, I'll put a video clip of what I'm talking about in the background, so just keep in mind that this is not YouTube freezing, this is just what the game looks like to me sometimes. Keep in mind with me saying all of this, I have a 2080 Super and an i9 9900K, which I understand isn't best in slot right now, but should be able to run this game no problem, because the game already doesn't look that good on the highest settings, but even on the fully optimized settings, it's rough. I get anywhere between 40 and 100 frames depending on where I'm at, and I have frame generation turned on, so half the frames aren't even real, but it still is playable. But possibly my biggest issue with the optimization is it peaks my CPU and I have random freezes that last 5 to 10 seconds. I have died because of this and had to reset a mission so many times. And when I try to stream this game, it makes it so much worse, which is so disappointing because I want to stream the game so bad. And it doesn't stop on PC because PS4 users can barely play the game. And PS5 users are having to downgrade to the PS4 version just to run the game properly. And this is definitely the main issue with the game, and they need to prioritize fixing this before adding any other content, because PC players love their frame rate and PS4 players just want to play the game. But anyways, let's talk about some of the gameplay. When playing this game, it feels like you're emulating it on BlueStacks. What I mean by this is it feels like you're playing a mobile game that has been shittily ported to the PC, and also the mods feel very insignificant. On top of that, the Descendant abilities feel really weak as well. So instead of being able to theory craft and make really cool unique builds, it just feels like the only thing that matters is the number on your gun. And on top of that, it feels like there's only artificial difficulty in this game, because if you're barely too weak, you just get one shot, and if you're a little bit too strong, you just one shot everything and don't take any damage. And to add to that, the bosses just feel annoying and like they're just one big DPS check. Sometimes the bosses have a mechanic where they have big black swinging dangling balls that you have to shoot to damage them again, and sometimes you have to shoot them all in the order that they spawn, and sometimes you have to kill them all at the same time, but there's no indication of which one it is, so this is really hard to coordinate with a team of randoms. And to add to all of that, the movement doesn't feel great, and the grappling hook range needs to be doubled at least to make it feel good, and melee combat needs a complete rework. Okay, I think that's all of my gameplay complaints. And now with all of that being said, I feel like this game does have a lot of potential. I think they really need to focus on fixing what's already in the game before adding new stuff, because even though this game has a lot of potential, I think they never should have released it in the current state that it's in. And I see a lot of people defending it like, oh, it's a work in progress, they're gonna fix it, like just wait. But what I say to that is that in 2024, the year of our Lord, it is very stupid that we come to accept that games will release half-baked and maybe fix their issues. I don't care if it is a free game, there's no excuse. However, while I think it shouldn't be forgiven, I think it's okay for games to make a comeback. So yeah, if this game decides to fix its shit, I will be there. And I do have hope that they can fix it. But who knows, because Nexon does have a habit of just shutting down their failures. Anyways, I said just about everything important that I wanted to say about this game. Remember to like and subscribe. I'm almost at 1,000 subs. I'm 150 away. And who knows, maybe this video will get me to that point. Also, check out my Twitch stream. I'm live every single day from 3 to 7 p.m. EST. Lastly, make sure to join my Discord. We have a lot of fun, silly stuff happening there too. All right, I think that's it. See ya.